Bioshock is one of the most critically acclaimed FPS games of all time. Originally launching in 2007, it was a spiritual successor to System Shock 2. It had you playing as a dude who accidentally discovers underwater utopia, but there's a twist. There's a dark secret. It's then up to you to get to the bottom of things and make it out in one piece. Now, there was one direct sequel and then a complete do-over of the concept in the form of Bioshock Infinite, but ever since 2013, the franchise has been dormant. Nothing. Publisher 2K has made it clear there are plans for another Bioshock game, and a few little things have leaked here and there, but the other day, well, we actually got our first big insider look at the new game, and assuming it's all true, it's going to be insane. Welcome to Video Game Leaks, everybody. Chaos here. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have those notifications on. We're going to go over the entire information dump about the new Bioshock game. It comes from Oops Leaks on Twitter, who's actually been pretty reliable over the past few years, but as of this video's production, none of this information has been verified or corroborated by any of the big leakers like Schreier or Grubb, so take it all with a grain of salt, but I'm inclined to believe this one. Oops Leaks has been pretty pivotal in a number of game leaks before, and with how detailed and lengthy the info dump was, I'm actually thinking it's legitimate. You guys let me know how you feel about it, but I'm going to go through everything that they said about the new Bioshock game, and then you give me your thoughts at the end of the video. I'm just going to read the leak as follows. Everything I know and heard about the new Bioshock. Do not take most of this information at face value. I thought for a long time whether it was worth sharing at all, but a large number of people crave for at least some information from me. Most of the questions I get are about the new game in the Bioshock series. I got a lot of information from new people. I think most of it's BS, as I can't confirm anything since I'm no longer in touch with my original source, so let's start out with what I know for sure. I'll go over it again with a couple clarifications. The further you read this thread, the more unlikely the information given in it, in my opinion. The origin. The logo and internal presentation slides posted by me come from the 2020 Slack Messenger data breach. All this, as I understand it, is the stage of early concept and pre-production of the game. The source confirmed the legitimacy of those images. The announcement. According to my information, the game should have been announced at the beginning of the year. I also don't rule out the possibility of the game's appearance at TGA 21 based off Jeff's words regarding his dream of announcing a new Bioshock game at the TGA. He also stated that the show would have an announcement that was agreed upon for 2 years, and also considering the very date of the presentation, which took place exactly 2 years after the official development announcement, I thought it was a hint, but it never happened. The announcement of the game was postponed due to staff reductions inside the studio, which lost about 40 employees in 2 months, including leads. I wasn't the only one to report this. I also received some early information about the game's Netflix adaptation, including the date of the official announcement, and scheduled a tweet about development problems for the exact same date and time just in case. I don't know if it's real or not. Then it worked out. Now at the moment, I don't have an approximate information about the announcement date of the game. According to T2 reports, it should be released no later than the end of 2024. We can see the announcement as early as the next PlayStation showcase. Maybe this was an agreement between 2K and PS, which was previously reported by Shepshelnick, or following Jeff's stream at TGA 2022 or a random date. The game itself is not a PS5 exclusive in any form. Now let's talk about the game. They are not trying to finish it as soon as possible. The whole chain from the studio itself to 2K and T2 is concerned about the quality of the final product. It's still Bioshock with the same concept that doesn't try to massively reinvent, rethink, reboot the basics of the previous games. I think that's a good thing. The release window will not be announced until the developers are 100% sure about the exact date in order to avoid any delays and polish all the nuances. The studio has returned to the previous number of employees and continues to hire new staff. I have received confirmation that the game will be based in Antarctica, an open world with a main story that has multiple endings. Allegedly, the theme of aggregate states of water plays a huge role in the plot and lore, which will be more extensively revealed through side quests. The art style and the in-game graphic design is similar to Deathloop. It has 1960s, the British invasion and counterculture vibes. Style is psychedelic and trippy, and I guess the music would be too. Heard about a solid soundtrack and a female protagonist. Still don't know if Shyman is back. The combat system will be diversified, various utilities and combinations of abilities. The terrain will also have an impact or on the conduct of the combat. Some familiar characters or their alternative versions will return. The game is much larger than all the previous games, and moving on to the less likely things I've heard lately. The people who contacted me did not provide any data confirming their information, but I pulled out what seemed to me to be the most plausible. In any case, everything you're about to read next is probably BS. Okay, well, we're going to read it anyway. The setting. The narrative is largely built around refugees. The city has become a haven for people who have left Rapture. Now, from here, it's a multiculturalism sprouts. So you can find areas with architecture from traditional Scandinavian and Asian motifs to Victorian to brutalism. I also revealed information expanding upon my previous tweets. It said there are really two cities, the Upper Borealis and the lower one, Aurora, named after the cruiser that played an iconic role in the Communist Revolution Empire hiding under the layers of ice. A Soviet city that was completely built and maintained by prisoners from the camps. The protagonist is allegedly one of them. Now, in the course of the story, you enter the prosperous city of Borealis, and your goal is to unite the two cities. This is the only story-wise information I even consider plausible, but still take it with an enormous grain of salt. I couldn't find anybody who could confirm this. I wasted a lot of time trying to figure out all the stuff I received recently, and it's only a selected bit of information that's been sent to me since December. The rest is obvious nonsense or details that don't matter. So thank you for your interest, but please don't ask me again for updates on Bioshock. I post whatever I think is reasonable enough. If you know anything that can clarify or refute what was said earlier, my DMs are always open. You can also contact me via oopsleaks@pm.me and in Telegram. So let me give you guys my thoughts really quick. The last part of that, where it talked about the cities and combining them together and where Aurora actually came from, I don't think that's true at all. With the landscape and what has happened in the real world, I strongly feel the development team would not focus on that storyline in that area at all. It doesn't make sense. It's just, it's not smart. It's not smart at all. Why would you even focus on anything to do with those intangibles when you could go somewhere else and do something else? Once again, I know it's a video game, but video games directly correlate into real life, and there's so many people that are gamers, everything is attached one way or another. As for the rest of it, I mean, it sounds plausible. Like OopsLeaks said, it all sounds plausible. Do I think we're going to be getting a teaser or a trailer in the next 6 months? No, I don't. Not at all. He said we probably won't see this until 2024, and I truly, truly believe it. I don't understand why we haven't gotten a game since 2013, but it is what it is. I like the fact that if it's true that they're taking their time and there is no rush it out as soon as possible, they want it to be right with no delays. I think that's the perfect mindset to go about it for everybody. The developers, that grind mentality, hopefully they're not having to do launch date, deadlines, all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think. That's everything we know about the new Bioshock. I'll see you soon.